Good evening, everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you to this special evening at the Pune International Center. I am Nupur Kulkarni, and I'll be your host for today. Today's gathering is centered around a theme that feels both timeless and timely, honoring tradition, embracing change, with our very own Mahesh Kahe and Dinanath Kholkar. We are honored to have amongst us our esteemed dignitaries, distinguished guests, members of the PIC community, and lovers of art and culture. To formally begin the evening, may I request Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar, President, Pune International Center, to kindly give a welcome address.
Let me extend a very, very warm welcome to you all. Mahesh Kale, one and only Mahesh Kale, is present in this auditorium. Thank you, Mahesh, for making time for us. You're always in our heart. It's impossible to describe you. I think we have made a feeble effort by describing you as a performer, educator, reformer. You go far, far, far beyond that. So I have to perform a difficult task of expressing myself about an individual about whom it's very difficult to find words. I'm also going to do something different. In a sense, there are dimensions of Mahesh that we all know. Mahesh म्हटलं की लगेच ओ कटार काळजात वगैरे वगैरे. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bring out facets of Mahesh's personality that I dare say a few will sort of recognize or realize. And Mahesh, I'm going to embarrass you by talking about your 10 tenets, so as to say, which make you special and makes you the only one. The first is beyond performance to purpose. While Mahesh's voice entertains millions, Mahesh has evolved from being merely a performer to becoming a custodian of cultural heritage, making classical music accessible to younger generations without diluting its essence. Second, I think it would be lovely if after each tenet I get a clap, because it is worth. Second, is obvious, is a global ambassador with rooted identity. Mind you, global ambassador with rooted identity. From Silicon Valley concerts to international stages, he entertains global audiences while remaining deeply rooted in Marathi and Indian identity. An enlightened approach to cultural exchange without cultural compromise. The third is a teacher who performs. Mahesh, as you know, actively mentors young artists and conducts master classes, showing that true enlightenment lies not in hoarding knowledge, but in generous transmission. Entertainment becomes education. In fact, we were just exchanging a note. You know his program Chote Shuravir, where there is a Yaman medley that he makes 9 to 13-year-old sing. There are, Mahesh, you may not be aware, there are 5.6 million, 56 lakh viewers on that single. And out of which 1/10 are likes, by the way. That's a very high number, all right? And among those views, I claim to have the world record. I have watched it more than 100 times. You know why? Because when I go to bed, there are days which are difficult or whatever, etc., etc. Sort of just watching that makes me, you know, so peaceful and so tranquil. It is incredible. And the important part is we were just discussing about how he actually taught those young kids in a manner maybe that might come out in his discussion with Dina. But it is incredible. He is Gurunam Guru in a sense, I would put it this way. The fourth is simplicity as sophistication. Despite global acclaim, he maintains remarkable humility and simplicity in his approach to life and music, understanding that enlightenment isn't about complexity, but about clarity of purpose and purity of expression. Fifth is a very interesting one, the raw mango metaphor, patience in the age of speed. Mahesh critiques the modern reality show culture using a botanical metaphor. He views talent as kairi. मराठीत आपण ज्याला कैरी म्हणतो ना ती, raw mango. If plucked and cut too early for quick consumption, fame, it is sour. But true artists require the restraint to let the talent ripen on the tree, harvest it carefully, and store it in haystack until the aroma naturally emerges. He argues, and think about it, he's right, that this patience is the missing ingredient in today's fast-paced generation. It's a very, very important value. The sixth is, and this will surprise you, spirituality as cloud computing. The Ramnam calculation. See, I have known him for a number of years now, and he has a mind of an engineer. He's a trained engineer, of course. Mind of an engineer, heart of an artist, and soul of a humanist. He combines all these. Now, applying his engineering mind to faith, Mahesh treats collective chanting as distributed computing. He calculates that a single individual would need a lifetime to complete Savakoti, 12.5 million chant vow. However, if 15,000 people at a concert chant together for just 5 minutes, they collectively achieve millions of chants instantly. Just think about it, what a beautiful idea this is. So he views his concerts as spiritual accelerators that achieve massive energetic output through synchronization. It's a very profound thought. The seventh, the sonic tour psychology, NH7 Weekender. He has had different types of crowds all around the world, and faced with a restless beer-drinking crowd at a rock festival, supposing you have to perform there, what would you do? He didn't try to outshoot the noise, because you can't. Instead, he inverted the energy. He asked the crowd to close their eyes for a sonic tour, dropping the volume to near silence. By changing the entry point from entertainment to engagement, he successfully made a rock audience sing complex classical sargams, proving that classical music is the universal of the user interface is adjusted. Just imagine the magic. Amazing. How many of you knew about this? Please raise your hands, excepting Mahesh. Yeah, there are a few. Good. Then the eighth is the geopolitics of joy. Happy people don't fight. I love this. His global mission is grounded in a simple sociological theory: happy people don't fight. He believes that conflict arises from an internal deficit of peace. By spreading music, he isn't just entertaining, he is trying to expand the sphere of happy people to push conflict and negativity to the fringes of society, exactly what the world needs today in a conflicted world. He's an ambassador of happiness when he moves around the world. The ninth one is love as an unbound ocean. Finally, he redefines love through the reliability of music. He described music as an unbound ocean of love and a companion that, unlike humans, is available 24/7 without judgment. He contrasts this with human relationships which are bound by time and mood, whereas music offers an infinite loop of receiving and giving unconditional love whenever he turns to it. Again, what a profound thought. That's the ninth one. Clap. And then the last one, I would say that Mahesh has proved that the highest form of entertainment emerges from enlightened consciousness. Enlightened consciousness, where technical brilliance meets spiritual depth, where popularity serves purpose, and where the artist becomes not just a performer, but a beacon guiding others towards beauty, towards truth, and towards cultural continuity. महेश, हे ऑडिटोरियम आज धन्य झालं. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Dr. Mashelkar, for your words. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Mashelkar, for your words and for setting the tone of this evening so beautifully. We will now see a short message from Ms. Aarti Kirloskar, convener of Art and Culture at PIC.
Hi, I'm Aarti Kirloskar, the convener for Art and Culture Vertical at Pune International Center. This vertical is very new. We just started this year. It's just been a few months. And when we started this vertical, the questions that we asked ourselves is, what is art? What is culture? What is beauty? And how does it relate to what we are doing at PIC? For the last 10 years, PIC has been working a lot with the left brain. It's on policy, there's a lot of think tanks. And how does art and culture relate to that? Art and culture is really all about the right side of the brain. So I think the left and the right side of the brain is what needs to be connected at PIC to make a whole personality. What is art and what is culture? When I think about art, art is all about beauty. It's about something which appeals to your senses. It can't be really sometimes explained in words. It is so intangible. And while when we look at things which have to do with science, those are very tangible things. So I think for me, art and culture is a lot to do with the intangible things and also about who we are, about our identity. And that is something which we need to debate on, and we need to program things on to really make people appreciate the intangible benefits of art. So for this year, we put a committee together. We've got people from theater, we've got people from arts, from film, from literature, and we've been doing a lot of brainstorming on what is it that Pune needs and what is it that PIC could provide, what is the platform that it could create. And we have come up with many, many ideas of programming, and those are the things that we are busy with this year. The whole theme is about the integration of the right side and the left side of the brain. So this is what this year's programming is going to be. Our one large event that we are going to be doing in the next couple of months is T.M. Krishna's concert. T.M. Krishna is known for his books, his discussions on what is art, what is culture, and that is going to be one of our flagship events. And in the next few months, we will be doing a lot of programming on how to integrate what is already happening with the different verticals and how art and culture can enhance those, can integrate into those, and to create some programming which will be enriching for everyone.
With that, we now move to the heart of the evening, the fireside conversation. We are honored to welcome Shri Mahesh Kale, performer, educator, reformer, India's national award-winning classical vocalist, founder of Mahesh Kale School of Music and Indian Classical Music and Arts Foundation, and Shri Dinanath Kholkar, incoming director at PIC. May I request Shri Mahesh Kale and Shri Dinanath Kholkar to kindly join us on stage for the fireside chat.
माशेलकर सरांनी एक्झिक्युटिव्ह समरी दिलीच आहे, इंडेक्सही दिलाय. I was telling him that it would be like just two friends chatting and talking about your journey, your work. But Sir has given us a difficult and a challenging task to also look at the 10 tenets. We'll try our best, sir, to do that. So Mahesh, we'll start off with something which you have been doing through this year. 2025 has been quite amazing. And specifically the Abangavari tour. And we have some of these put up for the benefit of the audience. Across Europe, across India, across the US and Canada. It's been an amazing journey. So to do all of these things, and I just wanted the audience also to get a feel of what the experiences the audience got at those events. So we'll just watch a quick AV on that.
Before that, I want to, express my deep, deep gratitude to Mashelkar sir for some simple things that I have done and I will continue to do. Because of his wisdom, he was able to see a bunch of things that I have been completely not been able to see. Sir, you have been a champion and a huge encouragement for me. And your 10 tenets, I hope I work very hard to keep working on.
He was a link between me and Vithala.
It's quite amazing to see these pictures, and I'm sure you'd like to share more about the entire genesis of Abangavari, starting off from last year and the experiences that you have had over the last 1 year.
You know, Abhangavari is something that is deeply personal to me for the reason that I have been singing Abhang since before I remember I have been singing Abhangs. It's been a part of my growing up. And then to assimilate everything that I have lived, experienced in the Abhang, roll it up together, create a concert, and then present it to a diverse set of individuals. The people that you saw, they are not all Marathi speaking folks. There were, I recollect people from Bangalore, so Kannadigas, Tamilians, some North Indians. And then I took the Abhangavari tour outside of India to various different places. I believe while we have a very niche cultural experience in the world that we live individually, there is something incredibly universal about the happiness that we share with each other. And to me, Abhanga was a medium to share that happiness and truly proving that what we feel niche is actually very global. So Abhangavari 2025 was an effort to do that. Along with the 30 concerts that I did, I think, in 4 or 5 continents, I also did about 18 to 20 workshops every single place because, you know, when music has a way to your heart and what you cannot understand, if you are able to try and get in a workshop and get a sense of how to sing and reach that place that has struck a chord, I thought that was also a beautiful segue into giving people an immersive experience. So Abhangavari has been a dream that I will continue to dream every year.
And in the entire journey, you also released your music video on Abhangavari.
Yes.
So I think.
Yes. So the soundtrack that was being played actually, I've been doing this Abhangavari every year for the last decade or so. And Abhangavari, the word Abhangavari, I was not able to find in any Sant Sahitya. And those that are fortunate are able to walk in the pilgrimage that happens every year towards Pandharpur during Ashadi. Those that are not will chant his name from wherever they are. And there is this thing called Manas Puja where you close your eyes, go within and imagine the journey you want to take. For me, Abhangavari is that spiritual journey for those that cannot do the physical walk. With that sentiment, I ended up involuntarily writing Abhangavari, a song for the first time. I'm not a poet. I don't think I possess that skill. But somehow, because I have lived the life, I know the life of Varkari, so somehow it all came together. And it was absolute marvelous for me to be able to write, compose, and sing something for the first time. And I'm very fortunate that I was able to do it for Panduranga.
It's quite amazing. Those of you who have not been to Abhangavari and experienced the joy that people feel. In fact, this year I was very fortunate. I was at COEP, which is the hub when it comes to both the palkis actually coming at the same place. And I was experiencing that. And then within a few days, your program was there. And I could see pretty much the people enjoying and experiencing the Wari right there in the auditorium. So clearly honoring tradition as the title of the topic of our discussion today. Clearly there are two traditions. One is the Wari, which has been going on for so many years. There is Indian classical music, which is also, and obviously Marathi language, which is recognized now. So when you look at that honoring tradition, what comes to your mind, while you talk about the more philosophical aspect about how should people honor traditions, how should they go about looking at this, and as an artist, as a performer, how do you focus on that aspect?
I think Marshall Cursor just laid the whole thing out so well. That is exactly how, although I wouldn't have been able to say it so articulately. But, honoring tradition is to first recognize who you are, tweak the things to make it optimal, remove the things that you think don't serve you well, and then amplify it amongst the people around you is what I think would be honoring our tradition.
You spoke like an engineer. So now I know I wanted to go to the other side of your life, which is teaching. And as a teacher, and as Spruha said, Kale Master, if you remember that. So, I just want to show a few glimpses to people about the different types of students who study with you, the different mechanisms which you have used to teach them. So just let's take a look.
जय जय विठ्ठल जय जय आली कुठून शिकानी टाळ मृदुंगाची धून आली कुठून शिकानी टाळ मृदुंगाची धून
So clearly a different level of engagement with the students that you've had over the years, and you've been into teaching for almost 20 plus years. And I've seen and met many of your students also in the Bay Area, in Pune, various other locations who study music online. How has that space changed? How is the student community or the younger community getting attracted towards learning Indian classical music? And what is it that you are doing specially to encourage students?
Well, what I feel is your hobby is actually your only companion that you can always rely on. Music is so scalable that it is available to you whenever you are available to it. You just have to start your tanpura and start singing. And I truly believe that something that you voluntarily choose is something that gives you a very shashvat happiness that you can always rely on. Now, if music is something that can deliver all of these things, I don't look at it from the perspective of training people to acquire the skill to sing, but I primarily look at it as an activity to be involved in for sanity. And once you understand the way to do that, music has its own way of growing and finding more and more space in what you do. That is primarily what I'm trying to do in all these different scenarios. I recognize there was a workshop in Germany, another was on Japan, then the last one was during pandemic where none of us were able to meet each other. I recorded a song, each person recorded, and then we pieced it together. Eva is a student from Thane. One common element in all of these is I want to make sure that I honor my tradition, and I'm able to, one significant part, as I mentioned earlier, to honor your tradition is to spread it around. And you hope that the way you have learnt, harnessed, and understood the way to spread joy, you teach that to generations to come. Because in the end, doesn't matter what we do, we are all trying to do them either for peace or joy. And I think music connects these two things very well.
Well said, very well said. And the workshops that you're doing, I think they are a big bonding factor because I get feedback from my colleagues, my friends whose kids are learning music and they attend the workshops, and it suddenly gives them a purpose about how they want to focus on music and how they want to relate it to their day-to-day life. I think that's quite amazing.
I'll quickly interject. I saw that particular one of the videos in Germany. There was a mother and daughter that attended that workshop. And the mother came up to me, the daughter came up to me, she introduced her mother and said, I lost my dad and my mother has joined MKSM, and it's the best thing that has happened to her because now, before she gets up with all enthusiasm, she switches on her Tanpura. Doesn't matter how she sings, but she looks very happy every time she sings. And I think that's the purpose.
Absolutely wonderful. In fact, one of the things I happen to get joy out of is connecting Mahesh with his fans. And I remember one of my colleagues in Mumbai, Veena Gupta, she messaged me saying that my mom is a very big fan. We have been trying to get in touch with Mahesh and just not happening. So I said, do one thing, tell her to sing and send a video. And immediately she captured it on the video call and sent it. And Mahesh then obviously was nice enough to do a call and all of that stuff. But then, after a few days, she actually dressed up very well, makeup vagare kela, and then she sang a Konkani song and then she sent it to him. So I think these are type of things that his work and his ability to connect with the fan followers, I think that's really amazing. Let's look at the change. I've been attending your programs, interacting with you for many years. I remember the first time we met, and just for the benefit of the audience, we started interacting on a completely different topic, which was museums and culture. That was the area that we started discussing on, and Mahesh said, why don't you come to my program? We are having one at Kothurud, and it was Kothurud Mahotsav. And something which is very interesting which happened was, as the program was getting to its fag end, Mahesh stands up, just walks into the audience, and makes everybody sing. And it was completely amazing to see different people connect with it. They're trying to make that effort to sing and stuff like that. So I think that's been a change. So you've been a change leader. And I have been a follower. I've been clicking pictures. So see this. So I love to click his pictures when he's performing. And notice this event. On the background, it's the same background. And you have different Mahesh Kade actions, which are very popular. Look at this one. This was the recent one. So in this, there was an audiovisual at the background. There were amazing colors on the stage. There was a storyteller Okay, Jitendra Joshi, I think was in this. And I saw this as a very good way of innovating and moving into a different zone, primarily because of the change in audience or the needs. So what really drives this innovation or way of doing things? How do you bring in this change? What is the real driver?
The real driver is always excellence. And it is always a target that keeps on going farther as you run faster. But it also comes from the idea, if I'm in a concert somewhere and if I liked something as an audience, I want to share that with the audience when I'm in a concert doing it myself. Many things that you saw have been, for a long time, been reserved for the popular zone, where Indian classical music has been believed to be for classes more than masses. And because of the number game, it has always been on the side of austerity. And hence, you don't see very much of hoopla. But what I feel, if you are able to build a beautiful temple and attract people, finally the aura of the idol of the Lord is what they are going to be entranced by. So what you say is just building, trying to build a beautiful temple around the aura of the Indian classical music. We have 5 senses of apprehension. If there is a way for me to engage all your 5 senses of apprehension, to draw you in, because we had a discussion earlier that the attention span is, so wherever your attention span can be distracted, if it is by a sense of smell, then I will align you with the sense of smell. It is with the sense of sight, I will align you with the sense of sight. If it is with the sense of sonic interference, I will align. So what I'm trying to do here is trying to grab as many senses of your attention and park them to the place that I think will be a place to be happy.
Amazing. And I have been also following you or even attending some of your concerts or events at different locations, be it Goa, where we had Anant Talwalkar organize one event, the Stanford Jazz Festival. But the one I remember, and Dr. Mashelkar, you would remember this very well, this was your first Mahesh Kale live performance that you, and Dr. Kelkar was also there. And this was your experiment on infusion. So I just want Dr. Mashelkar to recollect that and for you also to see this. More than the program, I felt this photograph was very telling. You had one of the greatest scientists, a great economist, and you have an artist interacting. And just prior to this event, I had got Mahesh to meet both Dr. Kelkar and Dr. Mashelkar, and I think the curiosity that you always had on learning from other professions and other areas, and I would reflect back on Dr. Mashelkar's book on exprovement. Here is a live example of exprovement where Mahesh tends to meet different people of different walks of life and learn to innovate. And I think being in the Bay Area and meeting some amazing people, I'm sure that would have given you a lot of thought. So your ideas about innovation from and learning from other professions, other people that you meet and how that blends into your work itself?
See, if you've looked at how the societies have been formed and transformed, we used to be in bullock carts, and then we were in vehicles, and then the trains started to happen, then there were waterways, airways. Elon Musk is working on another something called Hyperloop, which is a new kind of. So, what I feel is, as many vehicles or ways of deployment you can figure out to deploy joy through these coded pieces of music, you should do it. Simply put, the infusion in particular that was just shown right now, infusion is an experiment that is similar to writing in different languages. So the youth now understands the language of drum set and guitar more than tanpura and harmonium, unfortunately. But instead of just calling it a misfortune and keep complaining about it, why don't I try to innovate and find a way of speaking the language of drum sets and guitars and then telling them about Indian classical music? So if there is, I learned sign language. Rohit, I used to spend time with Rohit, who's Vidya, one of my dear family friends. So we learned sign language. And then I realized millions of people speak that language. So if I'm able to learn it, I'll be able to communicate it with those many more people. So really, all of this finds its way through one singular purpose of how can I share this joy of Indian classical music and spread it to as many people as possible. If you understand drums and guitars, I'll share it with you. I'm going to share it with people who understand tanpura, and these are just various different mechanisms to indulge and engage people that might not be the most likely set. So that's where it stems from.
And your audiences respond back very well. And you saw that one of the things which is there is you have people holding their phones, simulating the fireflies and stuff like that. They want to come in the front, dance, indulge. That definitely gives you a very good hope that things are being appreciated.
See, the one big challenge that Indian classical music has is identifying with it. And the reason it doesn't happen is because many the compositions have been written are traditional. They are about a life that you don't live. Sasanananda Mari Janamaki Bairana. Now, I mean, the Sas and the Bahu are parting together. Mm-hmm. So if we have moved and there is no way to identify with that music, then people will not engage with that music. You know, if you went to simply put, if you went to a wedding, Sangeet, everyone is dancing. Do you think they are dancing at their homes or they don't? But whenever they find a reason and encouragement, they want to express their joy through dance. And then why should the same people not make Indian classical music as a choice to express their joy? I want to facilitate that. That's the reason it's quite kind of rare, because there's a set decorum for Indian classical musicians. But I break that decorum. Knowingly, me maafi magto. But then I go, why don't I hold up a microphone in front of someone and encourage them? Because, you know, when you start singing, it is not how you sound, but how it makes you feel. That is so endearing that is what stays with you. The little child who's discovered the pen or the pencil for the first time, when they are drawing something on the walls of their house, if you really look at it, it's horrible. but it's so engaging that you don't mind the walls of your house to be soiled, because that painting is not something that needs to be displayed. That painting is something to be remembered as something that the child was doing and finding incessant joy in the activity. So, if we are able to scale this joy in such a disarming way, I think it will be a crime to not do it, and that's the reason I do it.
Do you get concerned with the purist? You know, the purist of Indian classical music, do they view too much of innovation or too much of change as a risk or as a concern that they express? And I'm sure you would have got criticisms on some of those. So how do you take that and how do you get them onto this side? I've seen people over time change because they suddenly see their younger generations, their grandchildren are suddenly participating in what you are doing. So the change happens over time, but they definitely would have that pressure on you to address the needs of those purists.
See, a few things. Yes. First, let me step back a little bit and define what purists mean. You know, what we call purists right now, let's say Khyal, which is the most pure form of classical music, the way it is exhibited today. Not very long ago, Khyal was a rebellion against Drupad. So when Khyal was the rebellion, Drupad was purist. Now Khyal is purist. So I think there is nothing called purist. The only purist is the one that has pure intent. I know my intent, so I don't really care about purists.
Wonderful.
The other thing is, first, whatever the so-called purists are, they try to resist you. And it is very fair. I actually am not at all angry. I'm a little disappointed because somewhere with the wait you take a little longer, but I travel a lot, so I'm used to taking my weight with me. I am a very active performer. I do hundreds of concerts. And I have been doing hundreds of concerts for several years now. Across ages, across languages, across continents. So I have a very diverse data sample. And I know my truth when I sing. Why do I need purists to tell me anything?
And one more very interesting thing which I had noticed was this was at the Stanford Jazz Festival, and I remember you mentioning to me that whenever we do events in the US, we want people to come traditionally dressed. And that was a big change. And the other thing, there were many local Americans, and they were all singing Vittal Vittal in that, there was jazz, there was Mahesh Kale, and there was Vittal Vittal chant, which was happening. It was quite amazing. So I think it's, as you said, what is done with a pure heart and pure feeling is...
I mean, see, I'm sure if Lord Vittal thought otherwise, he would have already intervened, na? But he has not. So I think he likes the chanting in the accompaniment of saxophone and bass and lead guitars and piano and trumpets and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, any activity done with the intent to please, that does not have any negative side effects, should always be encouraged. It doesn't matter what that activity is.
Wonderful. Let me take you to COVID times. And I would want, first of all, you to talk about ICME and the work that you're doing. But we'll also see something very interesting which you and ICMA did, and I was also contributing in some way.
What started just as an idea has taken a celebration, a celebratory kind of a proportion, and all of us have become partners in that celebration.
So probably you should tell the audience about this particular phase, which was very difficult. But you came up with this brilliant idea, and then everybody got together and executed on it. It was quite amazing.
Yes, in general, if you are a believer in God, whenever there is uncertainty, you pray. And when the uncertainty starts continuing for a long time, the prayer needs the breeze of hope. The pandemic was that time where I think the belief in the prayers had started to dwindle because everyone across geographies, across, it didn't matter who you are, you were suffering, you were grounded. And there are very few activities that can give you that restfulness, that hope. And I know from personal experience, music is one of those activities. So to me, the activity of Isolated Yet Together, it's actually a series. I'm very grateful that Mashelkar sir is a mentor to me, and I have access to him. MKSM, you were part of that Zoom call, so was Sushil Dada. I was able to, have some time with all of you all to describe why MKSM needed to go online. Similarly, Isolated Yet Together happened around the same time. When everyone was struggling, the first thought I had was, oh, my accompanists, what are they going to do? Oh, all accompanists, what are they going to do? Oh, everyone that needs to make their ends meet and do not have a job, what are they going to do? So it went with that, and then I was thinking maybe we should start honoring. This is the time where, everyone, I live in the Bay Area, and there was a little acerbic talk that I had attended where very condescendingly one very influential individual said, if you are not able to do technology and if you don't have the courage, you should just do arts. And this was the time that I would have loved to check with that individual, whether he's listening to songs or not, whether he's seeing movies or not. And then I thought, as a representative of my fraternity, but also as a representative of a bigger community, I should honor my musicians. Because it's now when you don't get what you take for granted, which is concerts, entertainment, TV, everything started to fade away. And that's when you start realizing, oh, this actually has created a lot of value. Also, calling it a financial aid would be kind of derogatory. So we instituted what we called awards. Isolated Yet Together was a series that actually went over for 4 months every Saturday morning. I know when I dial in, I'll get a minimum few eyeballs, and then everyone, all the artists you saw, was an ICMA awardee that we awarded a sum of money and invited them to perform online. So if you remember, during pandemic, all the musicians, because they were a little insecure, because they were a little desperate, so to say. They all started to go online and started to sing and found dwindling enthusiasm with time. So what I thought is, yes, food is a necessity that people have, the artists have, but creativity is another necessity that is just as equally important for them. So we extended this invitation. So in the time where financial resources and creativity outlet was not available, we were able to give them some sum of money, but also through online initiative, we were able to connect them with the audiences they had never seen. And then the chat would be going on. My ICMA volunteers would consolidate that chat. They would send it to me. At the end of their performance, I would say, someone from Sri Lanka has said this, or someone from Australia has said this. And it was beautiful. So to be able to create a little cocoon of happiness in troubled times is what Isolated Yet Together was.
Yeah, and it was really amazing. So round of applause for that effort to conceptualize it and position it in a way that it doesn't look derogatory and it looks like honoring. And we went through a very interesting phase of learning. In fact, me and one of my colleagues from New York was helping Mahesh on the tech side to see how
I must tell this, Dina has also been a champion of many things that I do. And wherever there is a concert, it doesn't matter where in the globe, there will be at least a few people who said, Dina sent us this, and so we are attended this. So he was a partner in the ICMA initiatives. Many places, from remote place somewhere in Assam to somewhere in Tamil Nadu, people did not have internet. They did not have a way to log on, and Dina was very, very helpful and effective in making sure that technology was not a challenge that we were not able to do this because of. So thank you, Dina.
So there was one person who didn't have a connectivity. So he actually did a recording at home, and he used to actually walk a few miles to find a place where he could upload his videos. So, that's the type of thing. And sir, if you remember, you were mentioning about digital connectivity and digital right. I think we learned a lot through that phase. This is another thing which you did during COVID times, and it's very, it touched my heart, and I especially want you to see this. A very interesting song that was composed during that time. So this was the year when Wari didn't happen. And Mahesh put this out, and you could actually get a feel that you are there in the entire journey. Many of the photographs were clicked by the then Chief Minister. It was a Sufi song. So very interesting combination of putting this together. So I just wanted, since it's a very special song, Mahesh, your thoughts on this.
So, again, I might sound like a broken record, but it's really that. You're just trying to find different pivots to be able to connect with as many people as you can. Difficult times, a song. So, if there was a survey on how many people know the literature of Kabir versus how many people know the literature of Sant Tukaram, I think Kabir will find more votes. And the reason simply is the number of people that are able to understand Hindi versus number of people that are able to understand Marathi. So if you have a guest, let's say Mr. John comes and you want to feed him Puran Poli, what will you do? You will not say, "Ha, te thoda and त्याच्यात घाला आणि खा." You will say, "No, take a little piece and then dip it here and then eat." So essentially, I did exactly that. What I love about Vitthal, what I've experienced about Vitthal, if I wanted to communicate the beautiful parampara of Maharashtra, that is Varkari Sampradaya, but I want to amplify it beyond the boundaries of the language. How can I? And that's how Vaibhav Joshi has written this. Narendra Bhide, who's another engineer from COIP, has composed this. So that's the reason this particular, I call it Urdu Abhang. So traditionally, anything that is written for in the praise of Lord Vitthal is an Abhang. That is the qualifier. So this is written in the praise. So if you were to, imagine a Sufi saint that was walking and he suddenly sees a pilgrimage. Whether he understands the language or not, he will understand the fervor and the energy and the worship and the whole aura. And then what is it that he would reflect? Seeing that would be Hasti Mita de Vithala, Tujhme Mila de Vithala Ekapar, all of those lines.
Just switching gears now. And this is what you call as a surprise question. So at home, he has a Oscar winner and a PhD. And Mashelkar sir had the privilege of taking this picture along with Purva. Unfortunately, Purva is currently on flight coming to India. She messaged me in the morning while just before boarding saying that I'm going to miss this. I think this is quite amazing. Her PhD work, obviously it was again linked to music and the effort that has gone into it. And of course, being a distinguished engineer at Dolby, winning an Oscar, we were all very proud. So, and it's very good that Purva's parents are here. And we would love to hear your words.
So, these are both things that I gave up my engineering for. I thought I'll get an Oscar award. And I thought I'll get a PhD in music, but I didn't. And Purva miraculously managed to get both while staying an engineer, a very fine engineer of audio arts. And Mashelkar sir, just as kind as he always has been in his hectic trip in Bay Area, you were there, graced our home. And not only that, he was insistent that he wanted to see Purva's PhD thesis. Her PhD thesis is 3,000 some pages because she has transcribed the entire 6 volumes of Bhatkhande's bandishes, which is 1,700 bandishes, odd bandishes. I was going through them and so that's a very special moment. We await his next visit to our home at a slightly more leisurely pace. Oscar ceremony, it's a beautiful moment. It actually was her birthday last year, 23rd of February. I was not able to go there. One, I was not invited. But second reason, the last time, so Purva actually attended Oscars for the second time. The first time she was invited because Dolby Atmos, does anyone know Dolby Atmos? So Dolby Atmos is a very refined technology of sound experience. My wife is one of the engineers that developed Dolby Atmos. So because it was a very consequential technology, they were invited to attend the technical Oscar award ceremony. That time I had actually gone to LA with her I was able to see her walk away on the red carpet in and I did Tata. This time I was not able to do that either because I was singing in Mumbai. It was a beautiful, fond memory, especially more so now. I was singing, Suresh Wadkarji was the host. I was singing, Zakirji walked in, he attended my concert, as generous as he always is, spoke very encouragingly. Then we all had a meal together. And then he asked me, MK, where is your wife? And I was like, she's getting an Oscar award. She's like, get out from here, really? Do you have a picture? And I showed him that picture. You know what he did? He said, hey guys, his wife just won the Oscar award, look. It was, so we remotely cheered for Purva's Oscar award with many things that she does and makes them look simple. Here are two things that she has achieved so far.
So Purva has promised me to do a session at College of Engineering, Pune, as part of the IEEE Women in Engineering as a distinguished engineer. So we'll look forward to doing that soon. And when I was having that chat, he butted in and said, hey, look, I am also an engineer. So we have said, okay, we will have you as a add-on in that particular event for sure. So, just a couple of last points, and the interactions that we had, and it has somewhat of a correlation to what Aarti Kirloskar talked about, the art and culture aspect of what PIC is doing. So first I'll, want you to give a quick view. You just saw the campus very briefly. So any comments, any thoughts that you feel about PIC and whatever Dr. Mashelkar told you about the work we are doing?
It's stupendous to see the vision, to see the way the vision has been, is being executed, the intention with which the vision is being executed. It's just amazing. As he mentioned, Padgaonkar sir said it happens to be an international center in Pune. And look around you, you feel that. I want to extend, you already have a bunch of really capable people, but I want to extend myself, if there is anything that I can do for this wonderful institution, it will be an absolute privilege.
No, absolutely. We take that offer, and I'm sure you will enjoy being part of that discussion, and I'm sure we will all benefit from your international exposure and things like that. So this is the picture that Dr. Mashelkar had tweeted in the morning about having met you at we had this very interesting discussions at the museum, and we've been working together, helping the museum. This is the Raja Kedkar Museum, and Dr. Karmarkar, Vandanatai Chavan, quite a few of us have been figuring out how we can actually extend that. So there is definitely an opportunity, and we do see good potential. The last one, and this is something which I would conclude with, is as Mahesh mentioned, there are great opportunities, and you would have seen with the photographs that I've clicked and things like that. I used to be very good at photography and collect a lot of photographs. So I just mentioned to him, hey, look, not many people are visiting Goan temples, and me and a couple of my friends are putting together a small video which is about temples in Goa. And Mahesh actually forwarded me one of his songs, which was sung in Konkani. And we made this video. We made actually 2 videos, and this was one of them. And this one specifically, he has sung on Lakshmi Narayan. It happens to be my Kuladevat, so very special one.
सगळे आमचे सुख दुःख तूच देवा जाणा सगळे आमचे सुख दुःख तूच देवा जाणा तुझ्या दर्शनान धन्य झाले लक्ष्मी नारायणा तुझ्या दर्शनान धन्य झाले लक्ष्मी नारायणा सगळे आमचे सुख दुःख.
So, you switch so very easily. I saw the Bangalore event and you suddenly started singing in Kannada. How does that come about and how do you so very eloquently translate things?
See, it's because I'm very comfortable making a fool out of myself. I mean, I offer myself. It is always for a good purpose that is higher than me, and so I'm very happy. Goa happens to be my Guruji's birthplace. Mangeshi, he belongs to the priest family of Mangeshi. So I have a very special place in my heart for Goa. So when that song actually came, I had an option. This was not the song that was given to me. There was an album that was being made for Ramnath Temple. And then actually, there's a gentleman called Yatin Talavlikar. He said, there is a Hindi song. I was like, I don't want to sing a Hindi song. Is there a Konkani song? He said, yes. Will you sing? I was like, yes. So I actually opted in to sing a Konkani song. I have sung, again, that was an afterthought. Kannada Raja Pandarisa has a sibling in Kannada music, Manava Mule Mam Sada Tadike. And one of my students, who was actually then performing at Carnegie Hall, sent me, sir, you are in Bangalore. She had sent it to me last year, but I was not able to do it. She said, here are the words to the song, you should sing it. So I was... I don't know. So I actually pulled up it was an afterthought. I was standing, the concert was over, and it was an encore that I got Kannada. And I was like, I'm in Bangalore, it'll be wonderful to. So I pulled up, I looked at her message, and I just started to sing it. Like I said, I'm comfortable embarrassing myself. But especially the reason I sent this song to you was because there is tradition and there is custom, parampara and rudhi, and there is a lot of confusion between the both. Goa, the way I have experienced because of my association with my Guruji, but also now because of the choice of places I go to when I go to Goa every time, I think it has been stereotyped as a place that is believed to be a party place, which it has, but the beauty and what Goa has to offer is way beyond that. And that's the reason I wanted to send you that song. To that effect, this is a little oblique, but I wanted to still share. Last year, the government of Goa, they reached out to me with a very unusual proposal. They wanted me to sing, they wanted me to do a concert of classical music on 31st of December. And I did. I told you I'm very comfortable making a fool out of myself. But it has its awards. There were more people than they were able to accommodate. And guess what? This 31st December, I'm again going back to sing. And it is just like Mashelkar sir said about PIC, 100 years ago, thought leadership is what was happening, and we need to dial back and say, this is what we want PIC to facilitate becoming. Before Goa was discovered as a party place, long before then, it has been a place of temples and culture. And if I can facilitate dialing back and just showing people, look, there were 7,000 people last time, there are 10,000 people this time. So it is something that you don't need to hide your pride about. Then people, once they figure out their way, I'm sure they'll be able to show pride in the cultural belief.
Absolutely, and Goa being hometown for me, having so many relatives, I'm sure we'll keep getting the 31st ka updates through your music. So I'll open up to the audience if they have questions. Some of them had a very obvious question, is Mahesh going to sing? Is Mahesh going to make us sing? All of those questions had already come, but I'll let the mics. So those of you who have a question, please raise your hand.
Hello.
There's Tejas Mange.
Hello, sir. It was amazing to hear you. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity of listening you live, but at least hearing you here today, it was something. I had goosebumps after seeing you in the cafeteria.
25th January, Pune Pandit.
Definitely, I'll see you there. So I have a very simple question. I have learned classical music for like past 7-8 years, and I just wanted to ask you, which is the most difficult rag that you had found in your journey of learning music, which took a lot of time and etc., and which is one of your most favorite ragas in Indian classical music? And I don't know if I can say this, but it's a small farmaish. If you could say a bandish of any rag which you like. Thank you.
I'll just for the sake of, so every rag is a swaroop of Saraswati Devi, okay? But just for the sake of making it easy to understand, I'm going to give you a different example. Some rags are like cats, some other rags are like dogs. Dogs are very friendly. They just come close to you. All they need is a massage and they'll sit right next to you. With cats, it's not like that. You have to sit patiently, not too close, not too far, and let the cat come to you. And I like all pets, so there's nothing that is difficult. Some of them take a little more time. Actually, the fondness also grows with time, you know. If you buy a lottery ticket and you got all that money, you will not really be as grateful for the money you have. I like to earn my money in a hard way. बंदिश आधी प्रश्न होऊ देत नंतर गातो चालेल.
सर माझा प्रश्न असा आहे की एखादा कन्सर्टच्या आधी तुम्ही तयारी कशी करता, प्लॅन करता का, कुठल्या कशानंतर काय गायचं याचा विचार केलेला असतो का आधी?
मी पूर्वी करायचो, पण काय झालं, डज एव्हरीवन अंडरस्टँड मराठी और एनी नॉन मराठी स्पीकर्स? Vaibhav is the only one. Is it okay if I answer in English? I don't want to leave anyone behind. Okay. So, you know, there was a time when I would plan, but then I've started to become a part of many festivals where what you decide is something that has already been claimed. So I stopped doing that. But also, there is one thing that my Guruji once had said. Ki you should always be in riyaz. It's like making sure that your sword is always sharpened. So whenever there is war, you can't say, hold on, I'll sharpen my sword and then I'll go. The third thing is, if you ask, so Rag Sangeet is how we call predominantly what our Indian classical music is, whether it is Hindustani or Carnatic. We all do Rag Sangeet. Now Rag Sangeet used to be delivered in Drupad, now it got delivered in Khyal now, and then it finds various different delivery mechanisms. But in the core of Indian classical music is spontaneity. Swachhandatna aleli kala hai. Now, you cannot premeditate what you feel like. पाऊस पडल्यानंतर आपल्याला आल्याचा चहा आणि भजी खावीशी वाटते. ते असं म्हणू शकतो, ओ उद्या पाऊस पडणार आहे, जरा भजीची आणि चहाची तयारी ठेव. So I'm a little spontaneous. the the last thing I want to say about spontaneity is, see, as much, so I do my own practice quite religiously whenever I have time. But I don't want the concerts to be a place of showcasing my skill. It is a place of having joy and spreading joy. And the more you are bare, vulnerable, and spontaneous, I think joy starts effervescing in that scenario more.
Namaste, Mahesh. I have two questions. One is, in one of your podcasts, I heard you're sort of trying to create current versions of Bandish, that from Saslanand and Byron to what it is today. In that context, how that work is going on. Like, I heard you wrote a Bandish even on Pani, water. So please talk about that. And second question is, even Dina is from the AI era, how artificial intelligence is impacting the way music is done, communicated, and how you are accepting that, and how you are working on it. Those are the two questions from me.
So the first question, actually, it came as a self-critic. I'll tell you how. I was in Paris. There was a PhD student that was giving us a tour of the Paris walking tour. And when we had the Notre Dame, they said it was going to be demolished. And there was a poet who wrote a very appealing poem. And then it kind of created a revolution of sorts. And they could not demolish the church anymore. And I was like, as classical musicians, we don't do anything like that. We have zero consequence. We speak in a language nobody understands. And we speak very little. And we keep on doing and all of that. Which I'm happy about. Because, I mean, if that is the way you pray, that is the way you pray. But if along with that, I'm able to bring a social relevance to these, then I want to. So I wrote a Bandish on Diwali, that there's only one Bandish that I have come across by Pandit Kumar Gandharv. That's in a rag that is sung in the evening. Now all our concerts happen in the morning. So I wrote Deepavali dina manavo, antara deepa jagavo, satamarga pathapara asita mitavo. Then, actually Purva, my wife that we just talked about, she said you should write something about water conservation. So I wrote about that. I love animals, as I just mentioned. So I wrote something about the unconditional love of animals. So the work is going okay. I'm not insistent on always being the... So I don't want to bear the responsibility of being the social change. Having said that, I want to be a very responsible person to be able to sing what I observe needs to be sung. So in that, I want to be a very responsible social or a responsible citizen. But now, thank you for reminding. I have not written anything in a while. I will, and I hopefully will be able to sing it sometime soon. The second question is about AI. So it's a very interesting time. I feel very grateful. So I've always complained that I was not born in the era where I could see the young Pandit Bhimsen Joshi sing, young Abhishek Bua sing. And I feel I felt very, very disappointed. Until a time, one of the great musicians, Vijay Sardeshmukh, I was sharing this disappointment with him. He said, I have heard all of them. And as much as I feel fortunate, I feel disappointed that I have not listened to Omkar Nath Thakur, Faiyaz Khan Sahib. So that remorse will always be there. But now, dialing back to current times, I feel very fortunate to be in an era where my now wife, then wife to be, I guess, used to have to call my neighbor because I didn't have a telephone at home. From there to seeing cell phones, computers. My elder brother was in his engineering, and we had a PC 80, 40 MB hard drive. Then the big floppy became small floppy. From there to now, my wife drives, well, she doesn't drive a car. She sits in a car and the car drives itself. It's an amazing time to be alive. An absolutely amazing time to be alive. And I think the promise that AI is showing is tremendous. It is a little premature to understand its impact. But anything that has incredible capability can always be leveraged. And I'm looking forward to investigating it a little more to see how it can be leveraged. I actually have already started my experiments with AI, but nothing that I think I want to mention yet. So hopefully you'll see them next year.
Namaskar, Maheshji.
Namaste.
This is regarding the fusion. I heard you speaking about at jazz festivals, you do the fusion things. But are you formalizing any kind of education, since you are a teacher yourself? So are you formalizing any education in the fusion sector? Because I know a lot of work that you do or Devgita do in the fusion space, but I don't know if there is a teaching that is happening in that space. And maybe AI can actually be helping in that.
See, what I have done I have done a few experiments right now. I haven't formed a curriculum. Maybe I will form it sometime soon. But here is something I continue to teach my students. There was a summer course that I had designed that I called Conversation with Music. And what I meant by conversation with music, the kids that grow up there, although they are Indians, they live the American life really. But because of their parents who are insistent to Marathi Bol, to Devachi Aarti Kar, to Apla Gana Shik, all of that ends up being in one room. So when I meant conversation with music is they have different rooms of music. Suzuki method of violin, then a Trinity school of piano and Indian classical music. And then I designed a course where all those rooms drop their walls and they're able to communicate with each other. Then there is another initiative that I'm still working on that is called intuitive harmonization. So harmony in its concept is a Western theory at large. We don't have, well, we have harmony, but we don't have a methodology for harmony in classical music. So I'm investigating whether there is a way to formalize an intuitive harmonization where if I am in an improvisational phase and if I stand on a certain note, because the students or because the singers know the rules of the rag and the note I'm standing on, they can come up with an intuitive harmony on that note. So these are a few things that I have been already working on. My students are amazing. We've also done that on stage. I see a few. They're my students, but also teachers of MKSM now. So we've done some interesting things, and I hope to formalize them.
सर, तुम्ही जेव्हा शाळेत होते तेव्हा तुम्ही शाळेचा अभ्यास आणि म्युझिकचा रियाज कसा करायचे?
जशी पोळीला लावून भाजी खातात ना, तसा अभ्यासाला लावून मी गाणं गायचो. काय सांगतो, 2 तास खेळत असाल ना तर 10 मिनिटं कमी खेळा. 8.5 तास झोपत असाल तर 10 मिनिटं कमी झोपा. जर टाइमपास 2 तास करत असाल तर अर्धा तास कमी करा. मिळाला 1 तास तुम्हाला.
नमस्कार महेशजी, आपण एकमेकांना भेटलो आहोत
होय
यापूर्वी
होय.
आणि उषा पण इथे आली आहे.
नमस्कार.
फ्युजन बद्दल एक प्रश्न नव्हता, एक दुजोरा द्यायला म्हणून मी इथे 2 शब्द बोलतोय. एक लहान गोष्ट, साऊथ आफ्रिकामध्ये एका चर्चमध्ये एक फादर होते वयस्कर, ते रिटायर झाले आणि तिथे एक तरुण फादर आले. लोकांची अशी तक्रार होती की हल्ली चर्चमध्ये हिम्स गायला तरुण मंडळी येत नाहीत आणि वयस्कर मंडळी आता पूर्वीपासूनच थांबली. तर तुम्ही काहीतरी पर्याय शोधून काढायला हवा. तर हिम्समध्ये ह्यांनी फ्युजन केलं, त्यात काहीतरी नाविन्य आणलं आणि हळूहळू तरुण लोकांची संख्या वाढत गेली. चर्चमध्ये खूपच लोक प्रे करायला यायला लागली. म्हणजे त्यात फार मोठा फेरबदल झाला. आणि माझ्या मते तुम्ही गेल्या 31 डिसेंबरचं गोव्याबद्दल बोलात, ह्या 31 डिसेंबरला नक्की मला शंका नाही आहे की तिकडची देवळं म्हणा, तिकडच्या वेगवेगळ्या ठिकाणी शास्त्रीय संगीत वेगळ्या तऱ्हेने फ्युजनने तुमच्या हातून सर्वांना नक्की मिळेल आणि त्यामुळे खूपच लोकांना फायदा होईल.
थँक्यू सो मच. फ्युजनचा विषय चाललाय आणि मगाशी प्युरिस्टचा विषय चाललाय. मी का म्हटलो की प्युरिस्ट असं काही नसतं, त्याचं मी थोडंसं आता तुमच्या निमित्ताने, प्लीज बसा, तुमच्या निमित्ताने मी त्याचं उत्तर देतो. हे पहा, जेव्हा श्वासरूपी वायू ध्वनिरूपी स्वरामध्ये परिवर्तित होतो तेव्हाच फ्युजन होतं. जेव्हा आता स्वर आणि इथे सगळे सायन्सची लोक बसले, स्वर आणि ताल एकच आहेत. खूप जलद लयला ताल स्वर होतो, तर ती लय जलद करणं आणि तालाचा स्वर होणं हे फ्युजन आहे. गाण्याबरोबर तबल्याचा ठेका मिळणं हे फ्युजन आहे. आता तुम्ही इतिहासाकडे पाहायला गेलात तर वीणा आणि पखावज हे आपल्याकडची वाद्य आहेत. सितार आणि तबला ही आपल्याला मिळालेली वाद्य आहेत, परिषातनं आलेली आहेत. ते सिल्क रूटच्या वेळेला ज्या वेळेला लोक देवाणघेवाण करत होते तेव्हा काही वेळेला देवाणघेवाण करताना ही आपल्याकडे आलेली आहेत. पण आता आपल्याला विचार तरी करता येईल का हो? 5 वाद्य सांगितली तर पहिलंच तुम्ही सतारीचं नाव घ्याल की नाही? कारण त्याच्यावरती जे शास्त्र वाजवता त्या शास्त्राचे संस्कार त्या वाद्यावरती होतात आणि ते वाद्य ते संस्कार बोलायला लागतं. मी काय करतो आहे, मी हीच गोष्ट करतोय. माझ्यावरती जे माझ्या गुरूंनी संस्कार केलेत, माझ्या आईवडिलांनी संस्कार केलेत, जे माझ्या स्वरांनी माझ्यावरती संस्कार केलेत, त्याच संस्कारांना एका अट्रॅक्टिव्ह पॅकेजमध्ये तरुण लोक, आता सध्या बघा पॅकेजिंगचा जमाना चाललेला आहे. लोक आयफोन गिफ्ट जर कोणाला दिला तर उघडा नको असतो त्यांना, ते स्वतःला बॉक्स हळूच काढायचं असतं. तुमच्यापैकी असेल की नाही काही, तर त्याकरता हा अट्टाहास आहे. आणि पुन्हा आता तंबोरा मेकर्स नाही आहेत, खरे तंबोरे वाजवण्यासाठी सोशल स्ट्रक्चरच बदल. मी कसे घेऊन जाऊ 2 तंबोरे घेऊन जाणं इम्पॉसिबल आहे. विमानामधनं लगेज कसं हँडल होतं तुम्हाला माहिती आहे. ते इनव्हेरिएबली त्यांचा हाताळणी बरोबर होणार नाही. मग मला पर्याय असा आहे का की मी शास्त्रीय गाऊच नको? नाही, मला ते मान्य नाही. मग मी आयफोनमधला तंबोरा वापरणार. कारण त्या तंबोऱ्यावरती एक्सपेरिमेंट जरी सायन्समधला केला असला तरी त्याचा उद्देश आणि संस्कार हा संस्कृतीचा आहे म्हणून त्याला स्फुरलं की नाही. मग ही वेगवेगळी स्फुरणं जी तंत्रज्ञानातनं येतील, जी वेगवेगळ्या एक्सपेरिमेंट्समधनं येतील, ती एकत्र करून आपल्याला आपलं संगीत, आपली संस्कृती कशी वाढवावी तर वाढवण्याचं मला असं वाटतं फ्युजन एक चांगलं मेकॅनिझम. आणि तसं मी शास्त्रीय संगीत गातोच. आत्ता कालिदास समारोहात मी ख्यालच गाऊन आलो आहे. मला सवाईत जेव्हा बोलवतात तेव्हा मी ख्यालच गातो. त्यामुळे अशी 10 स्थळं आहेत जिथे दरवर्षी माझं कुठलंही गाण्याचा कार्यक्रम हा ख्याल संगीताशिवाय सुरू होत नाही. ख्याल संगीत हे माझं दैवत आहे. त्यामुळे ते दैवत सोबत ठेवूनच मी ह्या सगळ्या बाकीच्या गोष्टी करतोय.
खूप छान चाललाय कार्यक्रम. थँक्यू सो मच. TCSमध्ये पण मी तुमचा कार्यक्रम पूर्वी ऐकला होता. मला वाटतं 8-9 वर्ष झाली असतील. आता मी TCSमध्ये नाही आहे. हा जो विषय आहे ऑनरिंग ट्रेडिशन आणि एम्ब्रेसिंग चेंज याला धरून आणि तुम्ही जे आत्ता आधीच्या उत्तरामध्ये त्यांच्या प्रश्नाचं सांगितलं तर मी त्यांना रिक्वेस्ट केली मला द्या, मी त्याबद्दलच विचारणार आहे. तर मी तुमचा फॅन आहे आणि देर आर सो मेनी अदर्स. मी आणखीन एका गोष्टीत मी तुमचा खूप मोठा फॅन आहे. म्हणजे तुम्ही कलेशी सगळ्याच गोष्टीची इतके प्रामाणिक आहात, डाऊन टू अर्थ आहात इतकं. म्हणजे मी प्रत्येक वेळी तुमचे जेव्हा व्हिडिओज पाहतो हे सगळं असताना सुद्धा तुम्ही आताच्या जगामध्ये जो चेंज आवश्यक आहे तो फार छान प्रकारे अडॉप्ट केला असं मला वाटते. म्हणजे ब्रँडिंग असेल, प्रेझेंटेशन असेल किंवा सगळंच पूर्ण. आणि तुम्ही जे म्हणाला की आत्ताच्या यूथला जे हवं आहे आधीच्या उत्तरामध्ये ते एक चांगल्या प्रकारे पॅकेज करून कसं देता येईल तर हे तुम्ही करू शकलेलं आहात फार चांगल्या प्रकारे. आणि मला असं वाटतं की मी खूप कलाकारांना भारतातल्या फॉलो करतो. आय कुड सी दॅट यू आर राईट ॲट द टॉप. म्हणजे अगदी जे टॉपचे लोक आहेत. आणि ही खूप मोठी गोष्ट आहे माझ्या मते. कारण तुम्ही जर हा चेंज जर एम्ब्रेस नाही करू शकला आत्ता तर तुम्ही ॲक्च्युली कमर्शियलचा भाग जाऊ दे पण तुम्ही जे काही करता आहात ते लोकांपर्यंत पोहोचवण्यासाठी ह्याला एम्ब्रेस करायलाच पाहिजे असं मताचं मी. आणि तुम्ही खूप छान करताय. मोर दॅन अ क्वेश्चन इट इज अ कॉम्प्लिमेंट अँड आय एम फॅन ऑफ.
थँक्यू. माझं मी तुम्हाला सांगतो एक तर मला हे करायला वेळ लागला बरं. कारण माझ्यासाठी मी अजूनही गाणं गाताना ती देवपूजा असल्यासारखी करतो. तुम्हाला दिसेल सिल्कचा कुर्ता पण मला दिसत काहीच नसतं. मला फक्त तंबोऱ्याचं नाद तेव्हा ऐकू येत असतो. त्यामुळे तिथं मला माझी प्युरिटी माहिती आहे एक. परंतु तुम्ही आता कॉमर्स जो शब्द घेतलात, ब्रँडिंग हा जो शब्द घेतलात त्याच्याबद्दल मला थोडंसं अनकम्फर्टेबल वाटायचं. मग लक्षात आलं की शीला की जवानी हे गाणं जर 10 कोटी रुपये खर्च करून जर त्याचं व्हिडिओ करून 5 कोटीचा प्रसार माध्यमांवरती त्याचं काय म्हणतात त्याला डोक्यावर मारून सगळ्यांच्या संमतीशिवाय गळ्यात उतरवलं गेलं तर मी शास्त्रीय संगीताचा न्यूनगंड का बाळावा? मला हवंय सगळ्यांनी घेई छंद म्हणायला. मला हवंय सगळ्यांनी यमनच्या बंदिशी म्हणायला. आणि मी तुम्हाला अजूनही सांगतो तुमच्यापैकी कुणालाही जर शास्त्रीय संगीत वाढवायचे मला न माहिती असलेल्या गोष्टी माहिती असतील तर सांगा. मला तुम्ही म्हणाला तू नाच त्यांनी शास्त्रीय संगीत पुढे जाईल तर मी नाचायला देखील तयार आहे. कारण जी गोष्ट तुम्हाला आतमध्ये पटली ना, हे पहा ट्रान्झॅक्शन्सचं जग चालतं पण त्या ट्रान्झॅक्शनच्या पलीकडे जाऊन काही गोष्टी असतात. माया असती, आजीची माया असती, प्रेम असतं, श्रद्धा असते, निष्ठा असते. ह्या गोष्टी जेव्हा आर ॲट प्ले ना आणि तिथे तुम्हाला कळतं अरे हे खरं आहे तर त्या खऱ्याच्या सानिध्यात इतका माझ्या गुरूंमुळे, माझ्या आईवडिलांमुळे, माझ्या गोंदवलेकर महाराजांमुळे मी आहे ना, मला आता त्याचा न्यूनगंड वाटत नाही. मला असं वाटतं की अरे आपल्याकडे अशी कला आहे की जी एखाद्या जर्मन आजोबांना त्यांचा धर्म कोणता, तू ज्या विठ्ठलाचं गाणं गातोय तो कुठल्या धर्माचा आहे हा विसर पडून उत्स्फूर्तपणे टाळ्या वाजवत वाजवत विठ्ठल 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 म्हणायला लागतो. ही जर कला माझ्याकडे आहे तर मी जगातल्या शेवटच्या पहिल्यापासून शेवटच्या जिवंत असलेल्या फक्त व्यक्ती नाही, जिवंत असलेल्या सगळ्या जीवांपर्यंत ती कला पोचवली आहे आणि ती मी आहे तोवर करत राहणार.
I think it's been an amazing conversation, Mahesh. We'll probably go on for a long time, but the invitation to you to come and perform at PIC is always open. As you are aware, we will have the convention center ready very soon, and I'm sure Dr. Mashelkar is ready with his email to invite you formally, but we would definitely love to have your performance at PIC at some stage. And I think a request which was made
काय आहे ना, आपली इच्छा असते, पण जर इटलीला गेलं तर पिझ्झा खावा हो. तसंच आज थोडा वेगळा जर मी वेगळा गाण्याच्या कार्यक्रमा करता येईन सर, तुम्ही आदेश करा, मी निश्चित येऊन गाईन. आत्ताचं मी गाणं गात आहे असं आपण नको म्हणूयात, कारण बहुल्यावरती जी चढलेली नवरी असते ना ती वेगळी आणि तयार नसती ती नवरी वेगळी. तयार नसते तिला नवरी म्हणत नाहीत, त्यामुळे मी गाणारा नाही आत्ता. आत्ता मी फक्त माझे विचार मला आय रियली वॉन्ट टू थँक दीना सर अँड एव्हरीवन हिअर ॲट PIC for giving me this opportunity, because many times as an artist you express yourself through your music, which is a very abstract way of expressing yourself. Many times I hide behind my notes, I hide behind my songs, but express myself shamelessly through them. Because I know while the meaning of the song is something else, the emotion is something very bare. But having said that, you don't get a chance to have a verbal dialogue, to share the idea behind the music making, the idea behind the journey, the idea behind the intentions, and the reason you take on certain things. So for that, I'm very grateful. उर्दू वाजला की मगाशी. मी ना एक पॅन्डेमिकच्या काळात केलेली बंदिश तुम्हाला सांगतो. मी म्हटलं ना असं आय हाईड बिहाइंड द बंदिश, कारण ते गाणं म्हणून लोक मनोरंजनाकरता किंवा बोधाकरता ऐकतात. द मोमेंट यू स्टार्ट डिलिव्हरिंग द सॉन्ग, मगाशी म्हटल्याप्रमाणे as soon as the breath transforms into a note, it has a life of its own. While you are related to it, you don't have any claim on it. तर तशी एक काय, मी पण गाणार आहे, मला गायची खूप आवड आहे, मला प्रवास करून लोकांना गाणं ऐकवायची खूप आवड आहे, त्यात जो आनंद वाटला जातो त्याची खूप आवड आहे. पण पॅन्डेमिकच्या काळामध्ये हे सगळंच बंद झालं आणि इन्स्पिरेशन किंवा चॅलेंज शिवाय रिॲक्शन देणं ही खूप अवघड गोष्ट असते. पण त्यालाच साधना म्हणतात की वेन द इन्स्पिरेशन इज इंट्रिन्सिक. सो मी खरं तर स्वतःलाच एक सूचक अशी एक बंदिश केली आहे. त्याची शब्द आहे का, मला वाटते तुम्हाला आवडेल ती. कुठली आहे रे? हां, थँक्यू. मला पाठे तुम्हाला कळाली आहे का बघत होतो. मी त्याचे शब्द अगोदर सांगतो तुम्हाला आणि का म्हटलंय हे सांगतो. ए मन मान मूरख जान, साधना करत करत बढे ज्ञान. आता मी कायम कंप्लेंट करायचो की मला प्रवासामुळे मला पाहिजे तसा रियाज करायला मिळत नाही आणि आता पॅन्डेमिकमध्ये कार्यक्रमच नव्हते. म्हणून मी स्वतःलाच म्हणतो, अरे मूर्खा, तू जो वेळ मागत होतास तो आता मिळाला आहे. मग त्यजले गुमान मान सम्मान. काय होतं की कलाकाराच्या जीवनामध्ये ज्या टाळ्या मिळतात ना, त्या खरं तर सरस्वतीने दिलेल्या आशीर्वादाकरता असतात. पण कुठेतरी कदाचित तुम्हाला अहंभाव निर्माण झाला तर वाटतं की तुमच्यासाठी आहेत. तर त्यजले गुमान मान सम्मान अयंत्रित ध्यान, म्हणजे न मोजता ध्यान करायला. साधना करत करत बढे ज्ञान. काय रे नाही, दुसऱ्या बंदिशीचा अंतर सांगितला. साधे न जे तू हार नाही मान. जे साधणार नाही ते करत राहा. साधे जे तू तो मत कर गुमार. हा, जे मिळते त्याचा खूप गर्व करू नको. साधना कर तू जब तक हे प्राण. आता माझ्या गुरूंनी आम्हाला मंत्र दिला होता, साधनेला साध्य माना. तर तो कुठेतरी नकळत ह्याच्या शेवटच्या ओळीत आलेला आहे. सकाळच्या वेळी सुचलेली आहे गुणकली गुणकरी नावाचा एक खूप मंगलमय असा राग आहे. मी फक्त गुणगुणतो ती. ए मान मान मूरख जान. ए मान मान मूरख जान. साधना करत करत बढ़े ज्ञान. ए मान मान मूरख जान. ए मान मान. साधे न जे तू हार नहीं मान. साधे न जे तू हार नहीं मान. साधे जे तू तो मत कर गुमान. साधे जे तू तो मत कर गुमान. साधना कर तू जब तक है प्राण. ए मन मान मूरख जान. ए मन मान. ए मन मान. ए मन मान मूरख जान. ही झी लफमध्ये आम्ही गुणकलेची गाणार होतो ती बदलली. मी म्हटलं ना, स्पॉन्टेनियस असतं आमचं काम. बघाय.
Thank you, Mahesh, and wishing you all the very best for the 31st in Goa, especially, and look forward to an amazing 2026. We'll probably take Abhangavari to various parts of the world. All the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I hope to come back here again and again to share my thoughts with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mahesh ji, for singing live, and thanks to both of you for the engaging conversation. I now invite Dr. Mashelkar to felicitate Mahesh ji.
गेले 60 वर्ष माझा जिवलग मित्र असलेला उदय गुजर, त्याचा महेश जावई आहे. आणि जसा उदय आणि उर्मिलाचा महेश जावई आहे, तसाच निर्मल आणि माझा देखील तो जावईच आहे. तर जावयाबद्दल आपल्याला एक विलक्षण भावनांचं मिश्रण असतं. म्हणजे प्रेम असतं, कौतुक असतं, थोडंसं भीतीयुक्त आदर असतो. तर त्या सगळ्या भावना माझ्या महेशबद्दल आहेत. 20 वर्षापूर्वी आम्हाला असं वाटलं की महेश हा अत्यंत गोड मुलगा आहे. आज देखील तसंच वाटतंय. आणि महेश बऱ्याच वेळेला पुण्यात येतो. आणखीन निर्मल आणि मी त्याला पकडण्याचा खूप प्रयत्न करतो. तो नेहमी हाताला लागतो असं नाही. आज हाताला लागला याबद्दल मी पहिल्यांदा दिनाचे आभार मानतो. आणि महेशचे किती गोष्टींबद्दल आधार मानायचे. ज्यांना शास्त्रोक्त संगीताबद्दलची आवड आहे त्यांना अखंड आनंद देण्याबद्दल महेश तुझे आभार. ज्यांच्या मनामध्ये शास्त्रोक्त संगीताचा दिवा अजून पेटलेला नाही आहे, ती ज्योती अजून आलेली नाही आहे, ती आणण्याबद्दल तुझे आभार. मी त्याचे कार्यक्रम ऐकलेले आहेत. आणखीन अनेक कार्यक्रमाला गेलेलो आहे. तो 25-25 हजार लोकांना त्याच्या गाण्याच्या मध्ये समावेश करून घेतो. तो आत्ता बोलताना म्हणला की तुम्हाला गाणं येतं की नाही हे महत्त्वाचं नाही आहे, तुम्हाला त्यातनं आनंद मिळतो की नाही हे महत्त्वाचं आहे. अशी वाक्य माझ्यासारख्या लोकांना मोठा दिलासा देणारी आहे. तर ते कार्यक्रम मी ऐकलेले आहेत. त्यामुळे मला असं वाटतं की आपल्या शास्त्रोक्त संगीताचा अभिमान परत जागृत करण्याबद्दलचा तुझे आभार. अभंगवारीसारखे कार्यक्रम करून आपल्या परंपरेबद्दलचे आपला अभिमान परत जागृत करण्याबद्दल महेश तुझे आभार. ज्या परंपरेने मला वाटतं या सगळ्या मुघल आक्रमणाच्या बाबतीत वेळेला देखील आपला धर्म आणि आपली संस्कृती ज्यांनी जागृत ठेवली, अशा या प्रचंड आणि अत्यंत महत्त्वाची जी परंपरा आहे ती तू परत आज जागृत करतोयस. त्यांनी सगळ्या समाजाला एकत्र यायला लावतोयस, त्याबद्दल तुझे आभार. आणि आज सगळ्यात शेवटी आज आमच्या सगळ्यांच्या बरोबर तू वेळ दिलास आणि आपलं मन मोकळं केलंस. बऱ्याच वेळेला आपल्याला एखादा आर्टिस्ट आपल्या हृदयाला ऑफकोर्स तो टच करतो, पण त्याच्या पाठीमागचं त्याचा इंटेलेक्च्युअल बेसिस काय आहे तो आपल्याला कळत नाही. आज महेश तुझ्या बोलण्यातनं तो सगळ्या प्रकारे आला आणि हे इतक्या उत्कृष्टपणे व्यक्त करणं, हे आर्टिक्युलेशन जे आहे ते मी म्हणेन अतिशय उत्कृष्ट आहे. आणि तू बोलताना म्हणलास की एक्सलन्स इज वन ऑफ द व्हर्च्यूज अँड यू सी अ फॅसेट ऑफ दॅट, यू सी अ ग्लिम्स ऑफ दॅट इन ऑलमोस्ट एव्हरीथिंग दॅट यू सेड. सो महेश, त्याबद्दलचे आभार. सो आपल्या सगळ्यांच्या वतीने या तिघांचेही आभार. माशेलकर सरांनी पहिल्यांदा महेशबद्दलचं बोललं त्याबद्दल त्यांचे आभार, आणि आपण सगळे इथं आहात त्याबद्दल आभार. धन्यवाद.